So I'm really happy to bring you guys this video. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to supercharge your garden, raised beds, bush garden, what have you. So this is a great way using a permaculture mindset to get the most bang for your buck. And most importantly, we're going to do this without any fertilizers, fungicides, pesticides, any of that petrochemical garbage. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it. It's really simple, really easy to do, and I'm really excited to bring this to you. So I'm here at a friend's place, and I'm going to get his stuff charged for him, but I figured I'd bring you guys along and see what you guys think, so stay with me. So for this setup, we're using a very easy, very simple compost manure based system. All we're doing is we're taking rabbit droppings, and I have it here in a composting area, not even a bin, but a composting area that's right here against some trees. And I highly recommend this. Is a really good permaculture type tip. So put it next to your fruit trees or anything like that, something that's going to be producing fruit already, because it's already going to inoculate the soil for your fruit trees, and you can take it as necessary. So it's actively fertilizing your tree, actively breaking down, and then you can take that and put it on other portions of your homestead, garden, what have you. So it's an easy way to put it somewhere, let it have a good beneficial effect, and you can use it as necessary. So it's simple. You need a bucket, a shovel, and here's the area next to the tree. Like I said, I like to use rabbit droppings because it's super easy to do, and rabbit droppings are one of the best types of fertilizer. You can put it directly on the plant without burning it. Doesn't need any breakdown, and it is full of nutrition and nutrients for your plant. So I think overall it's the easiest and best fertilizer that you can use. It really is. So let's get started. Yeah, sorry I interrupted the video to show a pretty girl feeding a duck a strawberry. I know, right? Craziness. So back to the raised bed. All you really need, guys, is your bucket, a bow rake. We're going to rake everything in really good, and then we'll transplant our plants. So the ones in the yellow containers were what was purchased, and then the ones in the black containers are seedlings. You can do either or. That's why they think this video is great. We'll show you both. You're going to do exactly the same thing. There's no difference. But for some of you, it's easier to start with the plants, and for others who have a little bit of time, the seeds are a great and most economical way to do it. But we'll get this up and going for you. So before I get too far carried away, dump the bucket in, just did a light leveling of it, and all I'm going to do, as you can see here, is I'm going to slowly incorporate this throughout the bed until I get a good top layer, and that's about it. So let me show you the finished product. There we go, everything's been leveled and the droppings have been evenly distributed and they're inoculated really good in the soil there. So I think I've earned myself a little break. Let's see, here's a lot of good strawberries. Oh, that looks like a good one right there. Oh, yeah. Delicious. Just delicious. So the first guys we're transplanting here are going to be the watermelon. And you can see I have two holes where we're going to put them in. And so the reason why we're going to do it center mass, spread apart, it's just because watermelons are going to grow. They're going to get pretty big. So this is the best way to do it. So that's what we're going to do first. So this is super easy to do. You take the whole plant out of the container with the soil that it comes in, and you just slowly and surely cover around it, covering it and making sure it's not compact, but it's nice, it's in there, and it's secured. It's the best way to describe it. Super easy to do. So there we have it. It's as easy as that. So we have some watermelon, some cucumber, and some bok choy, and I'll explain to you why we chose those plants. So I'm going to take care of the other grow beds as well. And the one good thing about, if you already have a grow bed and it has plants in it already, like this one has a bunch of strawberries, you can still use the compost, you can still use the rabbit droppings. You can do it a couple ways. The good thing about rabbit droppings are they're one of the few animal manures that you can put directly onto the plant, or you can make compost tea. I have a great compost tea video on that, and then You can compost tea it, and then you can take what's left in that tea bag, so to speak, and you can put that directly on your plants, and it's going to do nothing but make them flourish. No pesticides, no fungicides, no herbicides, no harmful chemicals here. Just natural, the way nature intended it. So just like I promised you, I want to explain why we're planting the watermelon, the bok choy, and the cucumber. And so when you're looking at this, what we're really talking about is just a companion-based system, companion planting-based system. This is something that's not new. This has been done for centuries upon centuries. And so why it's important is because when you're talking about sustainability, where you're talking about growing food, where you're talking about doing it in a permaculture, horticulture, just more natural way, in nature, you have plants that grow to other plants and they grow together. The reason why they grow together is because there's a symbiotic relationship there that's going to enhance not only the quality of plant that you're growing, but the soil and the overall environment. And so I think it's important that when you're growing food, you try to mimic these things that we naturally see in nature. So I'm going to give you 5 reasons why we decided to grow these plants the way that we did. For starters, that's not included in the 1 to 5. These are plants that this friend of mine, him and his family, enjoy eating. You know, watermelon's great, cucumber's great, bok choy is great. So if you're going to grow food, obviously grow stuff that you want to eat. And if you like to eat certain plants, it's really good to look at what those plants do and if they are compatible. Because if you're trying to maximize yields, combining them together in a permaculture type setting is the best way to do it. So number 1, watermelon, cucumber, bok choy, they're all full sun plants, which is super important. You don't want one plant to be next to another plant without some kind of cover, and it get too much sun and be detrimental to that plant's health. So that's super important to think about when you're starting to plant. Number 2, you got to think about dispense strategies, because companion planting is a great way to stay on the offensive. What do I mean by that? So, for example, bok choy experiences improved growth and health if you plant it next to certain kinds of vegetables and herbs, one of them being cucumbers. Now there's other things. They like mint, they like beets, they like carrots, they like beans, sage, stuff like that. So it's really important to look at that. And it's also important if you're going to add another plant that you look at things that are going to be compatible. For example, bok choy does really good with potatoes. However, potatoes don't really do really good with watermelon. So when you're looking at this, they have these templates out there that are easy to look at. But when you're looking at that, you want to plant something next to that plant that's going to improve the health. So realistically, you can monocrop it. You can just grow one type of crop, but you actually get better yields if you grow it with other things that are good companion plants that will improve the overall health and vitality of that plant, cucumber and watermelon being one of them. Number 3, bok choy and watermelon are both vulnerable to different kinds of insects, cabbageworms, maggots, flea, beetles, aphids, that kind of thing. Cucumber is a flowering type of plant, so it's going to do a really good job at repelling a lot of these, harmful types of pests and insects. Also, flowering plants as far as pollination goes, will actually bring forth really a lot of beneficial insects that you do want to have with your plant. So that's another thing to really look at. And so cucumber is really good for that. Number 4, they all tolerate the same water requirements very well. So you don't have to worry about overwatering. Basically what I'm trying to say with this is if one plant requires a certain water requirement and the plant right next to it doesn't tolerate that amount of water at all, you could be running into problems that, can be detrimental to the overall system. And then number 5, real quick, bok choy is a fast-growing, shallow-rooted plant, and it's usually ready to harvest before your melons. And if you do a good job, like I said, I can get many harvests out of my bok choy. I've been pretty successful with that. So what this does is it provides a really attractive, weed-resistant, suppressing ground cover that's going to help with your watermelon cucumber. So when you're looking at plants, light's important, pests are important, but pests aren't always insects. Some kind of invasive weed species can get into your grow bed or get into your garden. They can choke out the other plants. Bok choy does a great job at keeping those types of invasive species at bay. So when you're looking at it in totality, it's really important that you look into at least companion gardening and see what works and what doesn't work. So in this case, watermelon, cucumber, bok choy, three really easy plants to grow. They do great when they're together, and you'll maximize yields. So when you're talking about gardening and you're talking about growing food in a way that's sustainable, that doesn't have the garbage, the pesticides, the fungicides, the petrochemicals, the herbicides, when you're not wanting to put cancer, type 1 carcinogens on your plants, doing organic composting and companion planting is going to change and revolutionize the food that you're able to grow. So I hope you guys liked the video. Leave a question, message me, leave a comment in comment section below, and really look into this and see what's going to work for you guys. Hope you guys liked the video, and as always, guys, long live the Republic.